today we are going to be giving you a big overview of what you need if you want to get your first horse. So you're gonna need a lot of stuff. There's a lot when you first get your horse. It's always like when you first get into something, you need a lot, and then the next year you go to do it, you're not really gonna need as much. But we're always adding. We're gonna start out by showing you. This is gonna be like a basics video. You can get different versions of everything in this video and more of them and all that kind of stuff. But this is just the basics of what you would need to get your very first horse. This is also Western attire, like kind of going in that. And like we did not know, we know a little bit more now. So hopefully we can help you guys if you guys are trying to get your first horse or in the realm of that. So yeah. So we're going to start out with a feed. So obviously you're going to need to feed your horse. First and most important of all, you're going to just need to feed them good quality hay, which we don't have out here right now because we have a lot of hay in a loft. But you're going to need hay to feed your horse. I know you can get like hay that's like in a bale like this, like in a package. But usually
horses go through a lot of hay, like a lot of hay. Like we're feeding a ton of hay with a lot of horses that we have, but like hay is their number one food, like that they should always have.
So hay, you need hay. You can get it. It's best for horses to eat square bales. Instead, they're like about that big, and you flake it off to them and feed it to them. But we're gonna go to the grain now. Not all horses get grain, but you're going to need, depending on what you are planning to do with your horse, if they're gonna be under a lot of work, or they're just gonna be like in the pasture trail riding every once in a while.
Depends what kind of feed they're gonna
if
want.
they're easy to keep weight on.
If they're easy keepers, which mean gain weight really
fast. So
like one of ours.
If you buy a horse, you're going to want to feed them at least probably some ration of grain. Now, if you're buying a donkey or a mule, that could be different.
Or
because
a pony.
Or a pony that are very easy keepers, which means
or
they get
Josie.
fat, which means they get fat easily. You might not need to feed them definitely as much grain. But this is just the grain that we use. It's an organic mix. You can basically go to Tractor Supply or ask the person that you're getting your horse from or people around you that have horses what they think is best to feed your horse. But you're going to feed them some ration of grain.
We like to feed ours organically, but it looks like that's what ours looks like. But some are more pelletized grain, or it doesn't all look like this.
You can feed some horses straight alfalfa, like pellets.
Just kind of ask around, kind of thing. And also, you don't want to like give your horse like 2 giant scoops of grain. It's kind of just gonna depend. But like normally, a normal horse is probably gonna eat like a scoop and a half maybe. But yeah, you don't want to just like dump like 3 scoops of grain kind of thing. But yeah, grain is gonna look differently.
You can either feed your horses once a day, which is what we do. We feed them grain once a day. Or you can feed them twice a day, depending on their supplements and everything else, their weight and things. But you're going to need some grain. You're also going to need a rubber dish.
Or something to feed
like this. Or a bucket. Or sometimes you have like a built-in thing that you can hang on the fence or put in their stall. So these are what we use. You can get them at Tractor Supply. So that's what we use. This is not like you can't have a horse if you don't have this, but we like to feed our horses some supplements. These are not at all the supplements we use, but a lot of times if you have a horse that is a performance horse, or you're riding it a lot, or it's an older horse or a growing horse, you're going to want to have them on a joint supplement, which is what we have here, joint support. So that's just good for them, and it's good for just feed them.
What it says,
yeah.
It's good for like joints and then like arthritis if your horse is older, or just
we feed it to our older horses
because
our growing horses, our working horses. We feed it to everybody. So another general one that is really good for them is Simply Flax. That's what we feed our horses. We also get this at Tractor Supply. You can order so many supplements for your horses online and in stores, and you just have to browse around, see what's best. And yeah, but this flax is just really good for them. It also really improves their coat. So
Kind of just depends
I
on
like
what kind of
feeding them
supplements that you might need on your horse, because I've had to feed some of our horses, some that we feed not to all of them, and different vitamins, and then you come off of them. So really just,
we
it'll
also
depend.
don't have out here, but it is really good to feed your horses just a general like multivitamin supplement. We have that in the barn that we feed to our horses every day, all the horses, so they get all their vitamins in their feed. And yeah, so we're gonna move on from feed. Also, none of this is gonna be the exact same for every horse, so just yeah. So next up, if you are getting a horse and you have a barn, which is not needed to have a horse, and you're keeping your horse in the stall some portion of the time. I don't recommend at all keeping your horse in the stall for its whole life. That's depressing for the horse, and it's really bad for them. Our horses are outside like 24/7, 99% of the time. They come in the mornings to eat their grain, and then they go back outside. So if you're keeping your horse in a stall at night, or maybe in a stall for when the grass, like when they're done eating grass, you know, you're gonna need some bedding. So this is just some, like, I don't know, sawdust shavings. Yeah, you can literally have any shavings. Like, you just kind of go with what you want. There's like thicker shavings, thinner, like really fine shavings,
Straw.
sawdust. You can use straw if sometimes your horses are like allergic to the dustiness. We've had some of that. That also means you might have to soak their hay with water before they eat it if they're allergic to dust. So on another note, we're not gonna talk about that today, but get some sawdust, because you don't want them making their stall a mess and not being able to clean it up.
One thing we don't have out here is in their stalls when they come in, they have rubber mats, so they're not standing on like hard rocks or concrete. That's not good for them. And I mean, you don't.
Rubber mats or dirt.
Yeah. We're very fortunate to have our own spot and like own barn to put them in and have like paddocks, but you can like board places.
Most people
Kind of
have rubber mats.
Yeah, but most people have rubber mats.
Next thing you're gonna need a wheelbarrow. Now, you might not always use the wheelbarrow, but it's very helpful to have if you're like going to a show and you're hauling around your tack and stuff. We
Or
also
if
have a
they-
little wagon for that.
Or if they are inside for multiple times, like all day, you're gonna want to scoop their stall with something bigger.
You can also use a bucket, like a
This is just
rubber
plastic.
flimsy one, or plastic, or whatever this is, so you can carry around the mess and dump it away. So you're gonna need some of those to clean their stalls with. You're also gonna need either a pitchfork and a shovel. This is literally a snow shovel, and anything works. You can get these at like any like Tractor Supply or anywhere. So that's what we use for cleaning out stalls. And now we're gonna go on to taking care of your horse. This is just like basic, not into any like
Big details.
not into any details like if you're showing what discipline you're riding, but just a saddle. And if you're gonna have a pasture pet, you're still gonna want some of these things even if you're not gonna ride your horse.
Yeah.
So Ava's gonna tell you what you need.
That was kind of like the feed and the keeping where you put your horse. Now we're gonna use some more like accessories, I'm gonna call them. One thing that we didn't go over there. Oh yeah, you don't want a bucket. If your horse is in stalls and it doesn't have like an automatic waterer or any kind of water in there, you need a bucket to keep their water in.
Or
Probably-
to wash them with.
Or to wash them with. I dunk my horse's tail in a bucket. So yeah, A bucket. I would probably get like 2 buckets because horses are going to drink a lot of water. So,
Ours have automatic water.
ours have automatic waters in their stalls and out in their pens, so we don't need to fill them up with buckets, but at shows and stuff you do. So, let's move into what are you going to catch your horse with? You need a halter to catch your horse with. This is just probably when you're going to see a lot of tack stores or anything like that. It's just a nylon, colorful halter. It has all different kinds of colors, has buckles and that kind of stuff. This is a perfectly good halter. We have both the kinds of halters. All of our horses have a nylon halter, and then we do have some of
There are
these.
3 types. 3 types of halters.
And then we do have some of these, which are just rope halters. If you're going to get your own horse, I would probably get a nylon halter.
I would get both.
Either, it doesn't really matter, but like you can see this one has knots on the side, and it's not leather, it's, I don't know, it's like rope.
This one is all tied together. It's like one big piece of rope. So
This
it
is your
can't,
halter.
this halter can't break, which if you're hauling your horse or they're tied up at a show or out in a field, if they pull away, they can break that halter and be free. But if you have them in this halter, they can't break it, and so
But
that's a better one.
This one also could get them if they need to break away, and it won't. So there's pros and cons about both of these. This one we would call more of a training halter because some of these rope halters can have 2 more knots here on the noseband. And that's just going to help them feel more. So both of these are 2 of the kinds of halters.
There's also leather halters, which
Leather
you can use
halters.
if you want to be a little bit more fancy.
Lots of kind of halters.
Or some people haul with them so they can break easily if you get in a bind.
Those are the general. And then you're going to need a lead rope. Any kind of lead rope's going to work. We just use these rope ones with a simple latch on it. But yeah, anyways, lots of different things.
You're going to want to have multiple lead ropes. And
Multiple,
halters.
probably, yeah. If you have one horse, I would get a whole extra lead rope and halter for both.
Because your horse is going to break them.
Next thing, you're going to want a lunge line. This thing, oh my God, it has a filler in it. Oh!
Don't touch it.
Well, I already did.
Too late.
Anyways, you're gonna maybe want a lunge line. You could use a lead rope, but sometimes if your horse is real sassy, you want to do a lunge line. It has this little metal chain up here at the top.
Some do.
Some do, some don't. And it's just a longer extension of your lead rope. That's what that is.
To lunge your horse.
Lunge your horse with, and the turkey are approaching us.
Anyways,
Next thing,
I'll put.
these are bell boots. Elon was supposed to talk about this, but it's okay.
Oh.
Elon will explain.
So, your bell boots.
No, talk about it.
So, if your horses, if your horses have shoes on, and some horses have shoes, some horses don't have shoes for different reasons. But if your horses do have shoes, you're gonna want to put bell boots on them. Bell boots are just these little boots here that it would be my horse's foot. If this is your horse's foot, you just put it around, Velcro it on there, and so that if their back foot comes along and tries to step on their shoe, it can't pull
It
off their
steps
shoe.
on the rubber bit and not the metal part, because if you know a horseshoe, it goes like this, and these are the ends. So if your horse has shoes, you're going to want these, because then you're going to get your farrier out a ton more if your horse doesn't have that.
Because then they pull off their shoes and you have to get them replaced.
And if you have a horse who is like really needs their shoes on to stay, to not like
Sound?
get lame is what it's called.
Or
You're
sore.
gonna want those, or sore. But most horses can be fine with barefoot, which is no shoes. And you're gonna need your farrier, which is someone that will come and trim their feet, just like you would trim your fingernails. You're gonna need them to trim their feet, probably every 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the horse.
Or sooner.
Some go sooner, some can go longer. But this is another farrier tool that we have. We kind of know how to use it, so this isn't necessarily you need this. But this is for like shoes, and you can clench them tighter to stay on. You don't really need this, but it's just
It's
something we
handy to have if your horse has shoes and you feel that they're getting very loose.
One thing to go with the lunging, you're gonna need a whip. And
There's thousands of
thousands of kinds of different whips. We've made our own whips.
Not thousands.
This is not to whip your horse with. It's just as simply, I leave it on the ground
It's an
like
arm
this.
extension.
It's just like an arm extension to keep them going. Your horse shouldn't be afraid of the whip. That would mean desensitizing it too if they are. But it's just like I hold it out here just as an encouragement as you're lunging. You don't really hit them with it, but yeah.
We also have small whips. This whip is a whip we found at a show, but it has a little hand smacker on it.
Is what I like to call whips.
So sometimes if your horse is being a lazy horse, you can carry this with you and they won't be lazy anymore. You never hit your horse with it, but it's just a little bit of a speed inducer.
All right, let's move on to tack. Tack. There's lots of different kinds of tack. Tons of different, oh, well, okay. Before we move on to tack.
Don't remember
what I just said. Let's move on to, before you tack up, you gotta brush your horse. So, there are some simple brushes. There's two different kinds, there's multiple different kinds of curries. You have this metal curry with more spikes, and then you have this rubber curry. That's just gonna get your mud off and kind of stuff. Then you have like soft brushes that are just literally like very soft bristles to get like hairs and dust and all that kind of stuff off.
You don't need specific horse brushes. This is literally like a something
Fine, but you
cleaner.
can just easily find these at any tack store. We like to keep scissors in our brush box. That's just us. Toothpick. Yeah, toothpick. These are gonna pick out your feet, horses, because like if they have a rock in their foot, you're gonna want to get that out. It's just like the same as you would have a rock in your boot. You don't want to walk around with that before you ride. Or sometimes if your horse is limping, you always want to check their feet to make sure they don't have anything in them because they could be stepping on a rock or something in there. I'm gonna hairbrush. You can use kind of any hairbrush you want.
You can use human
Hairbrush, yeah, human hairbrushes for their mane and tail. You gotta brush that. You don't want to brush it too much because if you have a tail that is thin, it'll rip it all out. But yeah, and that's kind of the little bit just general brushes.
You always want to have brushes, even if you're never going to ride your horse. You want to brush them because you want to check them down, make sure they have no injuries.
It's still
Make
good
them
to
clean.
just get your horse out and you spend time with them and brush them. This technically is a bathing tool. After you wash your horse, you like to squeegee them off to get the extra water off. That's what that is. Now we can move in to tack. This is a barrel saddle. There are tons of different types of saddles, but I'm going to show you what we use. This is a barrel saddle.
We have a lot of different kinds of saddles ourselves,
But
so
this is
just get the saddle
that you need for your discipline. One thing that you're going to need to do, every horse is going to be shaped differently, and so it's going to be hard because you're going to need to find something. Oopsies. This is called, right here, is called your gullet, and that is going to fit on the horse's shoulders, and you're going to need to find a saddle that fits.
Withers.
Yeah, and then you're going to need to find a saddle that fits your horse. We don't really, when we started finding saddles, we just kind of threw something on. We did not really know that. So don't worry if you don't know that, it's okay. So just find some help and find a saddle that will fit your horse. But this is your saddle. This is a breast collar. You don't really technically need this if you're just gonna go around just starting your journey, of horses, but I like to have one. Next, you're gonna need a saddle pad to put your saddle on top of. This is just a Joe Schmo, regular old saddle pad. There's nothing really special about it. It's like, I don't know what color this is. Like woolish? Not wool. I don't know. It's just kind of like a hair saddle pad. Has a leather bit up here. It's from Rainsman. That's the saddle.
There's
pad.
a lot of different styles of saddle pads. There's
Lots.
there's a lot.
And then depending on if your saddle doesn't fit quite right, you could get something to maybe help prop it up. This is just something a little thicker. Technically this is for like English saddles, but I use it in my Western saddle because it's the same thing. It's just something that is gonna put a little bit more padding in between the your saddle and the horse's body so that it's not pinching.
It's called half.
It's called. This gonna need this. This is very important. This is your girth. This is what goes underneath them to hold your saddle on. You're gonna really want this. There's a lot of types. Again, you don't need anything that special. Just get something that will fit your horse, and yeah, but you need this. This is your girth. Then you're gonna need something to steer them with. This is a bridle. There's a lot of different kinds of bridles. This is just a simple little nylon one with one earpiece. So it goes over their ears. It goes over your ears. Lovely. Anyways, this is Piper's. You could choose it in any color. As you see, we like hot pink on Piper. Then you're gonna need what's called a chin strap on the back.
On some bridles.
On some bridles.
And
Chin
bits.
strap. And then you're gonna need a bit.
That's, yeah. Or a curb chain.
A curb chain. There's lots of different names for it. Bits are very hard to determine what you're gonna ride with your horse. So, if you have a trainer, ask them. Maybe they will have an opinion.
Ask
getting
the
more
person-
chickens.
Ask the person you buy the horse
Yep.
from.
What they're riding in, kind of thing. But there's lots of different options with your bits. This is a very simple bit. And then you're going to want some reins. These are our reins. These are called barrel reins because they're in a loop with just simple little clips. And they got some knots on them. There's you could use leather reins. You can use a lot of different kind of reins. That's just what we use.
You can use split reins.
Split reins, all kinds of stuff. This you don't need. This is not required to get your first horse, but I'm just going to show you anyways. This is called a tie down. If you don't know your horse needs it, then don't put it on. Just don't even think about it. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like and what this was.
Sometimes horses that are doing speed events wear this on their nose, and then you clip this in between their legs so they can't throw their head or get crazy about things.
Last thing, this is kind of not necessarily for your horse. This is for you. You need a helmet. I would very much recommend a helmet because you never know what your horses are going to do, and you never know what's going to happen. So if you fall off, you're going to want something to protect your noggin. So these are Troxel helmets. We really like Troxel helmets. All three of us have Troxel helmets, and we really like them. I've only needed to replace one because this thing broke, but it was probably my fault. But if you do fall off your horse and you think that there was a lot of damage to the helmet part, you're going to want to probably go and get another one because it could be cracked inside the helmet that you just can't see. So you're going to want to go get another one. But yeah.
Also, make sure you get a helmet that is fit
your
to
head.
you. Don't share helmets with people because it forms to your head, and you want one that is for you and not sharing with somebody else.
This is my helmet. Yeah, if you only need one per person, but yeah. Anyways, that is kind of all that you're gonna need, predominantly, to get your first horse. Obviously, there's stuff that you could add, but one last thing.
You're gonna need fence, obviously.
Treats. These aren't recommended, but I love to give my horses treats after. The treats that are in here are not the brand, but I like to give my horses treats after I ride. So any kind of treat, anytime ever. Our horses are spoiled and they get treats. Don't need them, but I like to. But yeah, obviously there's a ton of other things that you could get for your horse. There are so many different things in the equestrian, all of the stuff. As you see, we have a lot. But yeah, you're gonna need fencing, a place to keep your horse, you're gonna want tack, and then last of all, you're gonna need your horse. If you haven't bought your horse yet, don't worry. You're gonna need your horse. Our horse.
His headless.
This is our horse. She's patiently sit here while we wait. This is Piper.
So cute.
You're gonna need a horse if you want all of this. Now, you might be on a lesson horse or a horse that you're leasing, which is you're taking care of and that kind of stuff. But we have a lot of horses out here, and they didn't just come overnight. It took a while to find your perfect horse.
Months and months and months.
It could take a few
Years.
months, it could take a year, it takes a long time, but you really want to be
Careful.
particular and careful with your horses. I would say if you don't know a ton about horses and you're trying to get into it, find a good trainer to help you. and help find the right thing with your horse. But yeah, don't rush into trying to find your perfect horse. It will come, don't worry.
When you're getting your horse, your first ever horse, and if you haven't been riding for a long time or been around horses, I wouldn't recommend getting a horse like Piper. And you might be like, why
not?
not get a horse like Piper? Piper is 3.
She's 4
years old. And I wouldn't recommend getting that young of a horse.
She's a baby.
She's just
You don't really want a youngster. I would say mid-teens
to
yeah,
20.
20's a little. But yeah, don't get a youngster. I wouldn't.
Our
If you're
first
just
horse.
learning.
Our first horse we got her when she was 19.
She was 18 or 19. She was the best horse. So yeah. Yeah, that is kind of all that you need to just get your first horse. Obviously, there's tons of other things, but that's what you're gonna need. So
I hope
yeah,
you enjoyed
I hope
watching
you guys-
this and learned a lot. And now you're ready to get your first ever horse.
or be around horses, or lease a horse, or do something with your horses. Because let me tell you, Ellen and I are pretty in love with all these horses that we have.
But they're also very expensive.
They're very expensive, but
Ava
they're
and
a
I-
lot of fun.
Bought our first ever horse like a few months ago. Ava and I, like with our money, bought our first horse. And let me tell you, it was an investment.
It was an investment, but yeah, hope you guys loved this video and
Please
enjoyed
like
it.
and subscribe. And
We'll
we'll
see
see
you
you
in
in
the
the next
next
one.
one.
Bye.
Bye.